So yeah, I've obviously got quite a bit to get off my chest at the moment. I feel like I'm on a bit of a roll. So yeah, today I had a timely reminder. I was driving down the road and I seen a kid and he kind of like waved and I knew him, so I waved back and I thought he looks a mess. So I pulled up round the corner and I went to have a word with him, and he just had the absolute shit kicked out of him. Now I know that he uses substances. Not judging him on that at all. And I said, what's happened? And he said, I've just been jumped by 5 lads. And it kind of like triggered a load of memories, you know. I've had team-handed kickings, I've had a knuckle duster through my face, I've been smashed with a baseball bat, I've been picked up off ground and leathered by somebody, picked up by other people and then leathered. So it kind of like brought all that stuff back, and that stuff, it's not a trauma at this stage with me. It was kind of part and parcel of my lifestyle back then, back when I were kind of, involved with crime and drugs and, stuff like that. And it goes with the territory, but, he just looked a mess and he said, I've had enough, man, I've had enough. So I gave him some advice, I said to him, I know that you're in a bit of a mess now and you're probably not going to listen, but, try and get yourself into get yourself an adult social worker and try and get rehab, and try and get it out, tongue-tied. Try and get it out of town, because I went out of town. Well, I did it in town, then went out of town, and then went back into another one in town. But it was right time, right place. The first 2 times weren't right time, weren't right place. But the last time, I had just had enough, and he told me that he'd been stabbed week before, and I could see where he'd been stabbed in arm. And he looked a mess, and I said to him, what are you doing, And he said, I'll be right. And I'm like, mate, you're not right, you need an ambulance. Flies do what? Everybody turned into like Bruce Lee, don't they, when all these flies started kicking about. But yeah, so we rang him an ambulance and I waited with him, and then he off to go for some medical support. But it just kind of like made me realise that kind of like how far I've come from them days, because that were me, 9 stone piss wet through, wearing like last year's hand-me-downs off somebody, and it's just a reality of that lifestyle, and it saddened me really, because I know that he's experienced quite a lot of loss himself, but it's kind of like these timely reminders, and I thought, wow, even on my kind of like darkest days that I have now, I don't ever think that I'm going to go back to any of that stuff. Do you know what I mean? Because I've been able to be fortunate enough to program my mind enough that even when things get really, really shit, and they were really shit a few years ago, and it's like, didn't go back to it, might have used other stuff, but didn't go back into that slippery slope like I were like all them years ago. And yeah, so it's kind of like a bit, you see people like that and it's like, try and help them, don't ignore them. And if you can kind of like reach out and give them a bit of your time and stuff, that might just help them to realise that, enough's enough, and to try and access that support and get that support. All right, talk yourself well, find a balance, peace.